Elisa, LaShell, Sanders, Arnie.
We're talking about what's love got to do with it. Kim watching from Pensacola, Florida. On my post earlier today, I mentioned that back in the 80s, Tina Turner came out with this song, Hey Thomas, and this song was called What's Love Got to Do with It? Sakiti is watching for the first time. Thank you so much. And hey, Carlencia, sweetheart, thank you for watching. So if you really pay attention, and I know when we used to hear that song, What's Love Got to Do with It, everybody was kind of grooving, hey Terrence, and not really paying attention to the lyrics of it. Quayla, thank you so much for watching for the first time. Hey Sandra. So if you listen to the lyrics, let me tell you a little bit of something about What's Love Got to Do with It. The song was about somebody making her feel some kind of way. And as she started feeling some kind of way, she was like, hey, wait a minute. When I get around you, I start acting different. When you talk to me, when you're around me, I start responding a little different. And so to play it off, what she says is, what's love got to do with it? She's saying, I don't even want to act like I'm feeling what I wasn't feeling. Hey, Travis. Hey, Kimberly. Hey, everybody that's coming on. So she starts saying, what's love got to do with it? Hey, Elisa. And she was like, it's just an emotion. She was trying to discount it. She felt what it was. She sensed what it was. Hey, Juanita, thank you for watching for the first time. But she was just like, I'm just going to play it off. What's love got to do with it? That's just a second hand emotion. Who needs a heart when hearts can be broken? But at the same time, she was dealing with the fact, but I'm in my feelings about this person, but I'm feeling some kind of way, but this person is making me feel some kind of way. And so to play it off, she just kept trying to say, well, what's love got to do with it? Listen, isn't that just what we do in real life? In real life, we'll label emotions and we'll label actions based on what works for us. I'm going to tell the truth. Think about this. If you are feeling some kind of way about something, depending on how you feel about that person, you're going to make a choice to interpret what they do and what they say the way you want to feel it. Think I'm playing? Let me give you an example. If somebody texts you or you text them and say something, give them a request, you want them to do something and you're kind of feeling some kind of way, you got an attitude with them or you kind of feel like they don't really like you like that, if they text back, that's fine. Do you know automatically, hey Carolyn, watching from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, do you know automatically you'll be like, oh, that's fine. She must have an attitude. He's trying to be nasty with me. A lot of times we'll feel some kind of way. But if it's somebody that we love, hey Elijah, if it's somebody that we got tender feelings for, they can send back, that's fine, and we receive it in love. Oh, she just said that's fine. How accommodating was that? It depends on who we're talking to and how we feel about that person. That's how we determine. See, that's why Tina was saying, well, what's love got to do with it? It's just an emotion. No, it depends on how you're feeling about somebody. We make decisions to feel a certain kind of way based on how we feel. Can be the same words. That's fine. Were the same words that person texts back. But because of how we feel, we will make a decision to interpret it differently. And do you know that's what messes us up in real life? Hey, Travis, love you too, cousin. That's what messes us up in real life, because here is the truth. Thank you, Cassandra, watching from Valdosta. The truth be told, we see what we want to see and we choose what we want to ignore. I'm dropping the mic already tonight. We see what we want to see, but we choose what we want to ignore. Told y'all it's going to be real raw and relevant tonight. Make sure you're inviting everybody on. But can I tell you something? And this is just a mic drop. What you choose to ignore on the front end is what you're going to be forced to face on the back end. I'm all the way in there tonight. Y'all thank y'all for telling the truth. What you choose to ignore on the front end is what you're going to end up facing on the back end. Hey, Jennifer, watching from Colorado. See, that's what happens with us. Oh, we want to ignore it on the front end. Hey, Tracy, thanks for watching for the first time. We want to act like we didn't see it on the front end, but rest assured that thing is going to come back and force you to face it on the back end. Do you need some examples? Let me go ahead and make this thing plain already. So for instance, On the front end, you have a man that loves to drink. He drinks when he's happy. He drinks when he's sad. He drinks when he have an attitude. He drinks to relax himself. He drinks to pump himself up. Always drinking. Thank you, Brenda. First time view. I appreciate it. So if we choose to ignore those signs on the front end, guess what we're going to face on the back end? He's an alcoholic. Chose to ignore it on the front end, but what happens? Now we're faced with it on the back end. Here's another example. Oh, this woman loves to spend money. Every time I look, she never have $1 in her pocket. She's always spending money. Every time new shoes comes out, she's borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. So here it is, always spending, always taking. We're choosing to ignore it on the front end, but on the back end, guess what? Now you got to deal with bankruptcy. Now you got to deal with bad credit. Now you got to deal with car possession because you chose to ignore it on the front end, but guess what? Now you're forced to face it on the back end. Let me keep going because I'm all the way in there tonight. So on the front end, he has a quick temper. Ooh, he's so touchy. Well, he's just sensitive. Everything that, you say, all of a sudden, he just jump at it. You choosing to ignore on the front end that he's a hothead, that he always getting an attitude, that he quick to be defensive. You're choosing to ignore it on the front end, but guess what? On the back end, now you're dealing with somebody that's verbally and physically abusive. These are the type of things, I just dropped the mic. What you choose to ignore up front is what you're going to be forced to face in the end. See, this is why my life's motto is, you can't fix what you won't face. I'm going to keep going because this is the truth. What you choose to ignore on the front end, that's my first mic drop, is what you're going to be forced to deal with on the back end. Oh, this person is just so flirty. They're always flirting. That's just the kind of person they are. Every time I look up, he in somebody's face. Every time I look up, she giggling at somebody. You're choosing to ignore certain signs on the front end, and then guess what happens on the back end? You're dealing with a habitual cheater. You're dealing with infidelity. You're dealing with somebody that does not know how to be faithful to you. Why? What you choose to ignore on the front end is what you end up facing on the back end. I'm all the way live. Let me keep going. You're dealing on the front end with somebody that's secretive. Well, she don't never like to really share. He don't really like to express stuff. They're secretive on the front end. You're choosing to ignore that you don't know anything about their finances, about their debt, about their ambition. You don't really know a lot of stuff. Where are they going? What are they doing? Well, I'm choosing to ignore it on the front end because, they're just being so secretive. But guess what you're dealing with on the back end? A liar. You're ignoring that secretive. Oh, now when you ask them, well, now I'm just going to lie and tell you because you chose to ignore on the front end. That's my mic drop. Let me give you one more. You're dealing with somebody on the front end. They're not stable. They're always winging it. They don't have anything consistent that they're doing. There is nothing that they've sat down and said, this is what I'm going towards. This is my ambition. This is what I'm doing. Guess what? I'm ignoring the signs that they can't keep a job on the front end. I'm ignoring the fact that they're always going from one place to another on the front end. Now, guess what? On the back end, I'm forced to face that I have somebody that's lazy, a quitter, has no ambition, is not striving to be anything. So what is my first mic drop? What you choose to ignore on the front end is what you're forced to face on the back end. We're getting free tonight. I'm talking about what's love got to do with it. Tonight, we're dealing with, we choose what we want to see. We choose what we want to hear. We choose what we want to respond to. And so what happens is the reason that we can't figure out what love has to do with it is simply because we want to pretend like something is that it really is not. We're labeling something as love when it's really convenience. We're labeling something as love when it's really just what we're using to get by. We're labeling something as love because it's comfortable and it's convenient for us. We're labeling something as love because it's our means to an end. It's not really what we want, but we'll take it if it's going to get us where we need to go. Hey, Ebony. Hey, Gidget. Keisha. Thank you guys so much. Listen, y'all see I am all the way live tonight. Stop for a second. Do me a favor. Make sure that you're sharing because this is getting ready to be real, raw, and relevant adult conversation. Thank you, Kimberly. Adult conversation tonight. Now, I'm getting ready. Most of you guys that know me, y'all know how I do with these mic drops. But for those of you all that are new, let me go ahead and give a disclaimer about me. I am very multifaceted. I like talking from a whole bunch of different perspectives. There are some times when I talk and I give a lesson on history. I'll use history to show us some things about ourselves. Sometimes I'll use geography. Sometimes I'll use nature. I did a whole National Geographic thing to talk about the difference between an eagle and a vulture. Sometimes I'll use medical issues. I did a segment about stop bleeding on other people and talked about what happens to our body in the natural when we bleed. Tonight, I'm going to use two different things to talk about it. Listen, take what works for you and let that empower you. And so I try to stay, hey, Jason, I try to stay as holistic as possible and use different resources as I teach and help. Erica says she doesn't see a share button. Somebody said it's in the same place. You might have to come out of it, scroll my timeline, and share it from there. My dad is on. Hey, Daddy, he told me to drop that mic. I'm dropping it, Daddy. So tonight, I'm going to do two things. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give us a lesson in science. We're going to deal with our bodies for a second. And I'm going to talk to us about why we see, hear, and why we choose to ignore certain things and why we choose to deal with certain things. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take us biblical and I'm going to show you really, if it don't look like this, it don't look like love. Oh man, I'm going all the way there tonight. So I hope y'all got y'all seatbelts on because we getting ready to go on a journey tonight. What's love got to do with it? And the answer is everything. All right? You hear me? The question is, what's love got to do with it? The answer is everything. So I hope you guys have shared as you guys are coming on. I see more people coming on. Listen, it's about to get real in this camp tonight. So that was my first mic drop. What you choose to ignore on the front end is what you're going to be forced to face on the back end. And I gave some examples of things on the front end that we choose to ignore and what we turn around and still have to end up dealing with because we won't recognize the signs, because we won't look at what's right in front of our faces and we won't identify it and accept it for what it is. And this is why we end up so messed up about love. This is why we're always trying to figure out, is that love? Is that love? Is that what that's supposed to be? Do you think that means that? This is why we end up with that. But listen, tonight we're going to get free. We're going to get some answers and we're going to get some clarity. I hope y'all are ready. All right, so here is my second mic drop. Stop acting like you can only see with your eyes. Yeah, listen, I wish I could put the mic drop emoji on there. That's a mic drop. Somebody needs to type that for me. Stop acting like you can only see with your eyes. Oh man, it's about to get real. I'm going to make it clear. Stop acting like you can only see with your eyes. Well, I didn't actually see them do that. Well, I didn't actually see him when that happened. Well, I didn't really see the situation. Hear me. Stop acting like you can only see with your eyes. Oh, yes. Listen to me. What happens is we all have 5 senses. 5 of them. And what we would like to try to pretend like is we are only able to use one of them. But I'm about to take us through a science lesson and I'm about to show you by looking at the way that we are made up, baby, you can see with more than your eyes. You better hear me tonight. Stop acting like you can only see with your eyes. See, what happens is what we tend to do is desensitize the rest of ourselves because it's not convenient. Y'all heard that mic drop? Stop acting like you can only see with your eyes. Oh no, I am going to give you guys a lesson in the science of our genetic makeup, and we're going to do a history lesson tonight, and we're going to talk about the fact that we have 5 senses, and guess what? We can see with every last one of them. Oh yeah, it's about to be real, raw, and relevant tonight. Y'all make sure y'all inviting your friends and share, and I see more people coming on. Let's get everybody on here because we are going to go there tonight. So my first mic drop, once again, was what you choose to ignore on the front end is what you end up facing on the back end. And my second mic drop is stop acting like you can only see with your eyes. We are getting ready to talk about our 5 senses and how we actually can see with every last one of them. This is going to help us get free. And then I'm going to show you what love has to do with it. Number 1, let's talk about sight. Can y'all type that in? The first sense we're going to deal with is our sense of sight. S-I-G-H-T, sight. Let's talk about it. Hey, Jeff. So the first thing we're going to deal with is our sight. Now, here is the lesson with our sight. Our eyes translate light into image signals for the brain to process. Let me explain it. Y'all know I'm getting ready to go deep now. Our eyes, the way that we are able to see is that our eyes translate light into image signals for our brain to process. Let me tell you what I'm saying. In other words, the less light we shine on an object, the less able we are able to comprehend what it really is. Do you hear what I'm saying? We are only able to perceive something and have sight because of the light that shined on it. When the light shines on it, it translates the image into our brain, and that's what makes us see. What are you saying, Elisa, LaShell, the empowerment specialist? What I am saying is the less light we shine on a situation in a relationship, the less capable we are for seeing it for what it really is. Are y'all hearing me? Hey, my sis, Dr. T is on. Hey, Dr. T, you hear me? I just said my mic drop was stop acting like you can only see with your eyes. We're going to have a lesson with our 5 senses tonight. Number 1 is sight. We're only able to see because light translates the image to our brain and causes us to see. Some of the reason why you're in the dark about a situation is because you refuse to shine the light on it. Oh, I'm dropping this mic better than y'all putting these emojis up. Hear me. The less capable we are of seeing an issue is because we refuse to shine the light on it. Listen, have you ever heard the phrase, I was kept in the dark? Ooh, they kept me in the dark. What am I saying? The less light you shine on a situation, the less capable you are of seeing it for what it really is. So what am I saying? Stop avoiding dark places because you're afraid of what the light will reveal. I'm dropping I'm dropping bombs. I don't even know if I'm dropping the mic tonight. I'm dropping bombs. Did you hear what I just said? Stop avoiding dark places because you're afraid of what the light will reveal. Oh yeah, listen, I'm going to go a little old school. You know how some people have a house that might have roaches in it and you might be scared to go in the kitchen and turn on the light because you know that if that light come on too quick, it might reveal that there's some stuff running around in there. I don't want to see that. So I'd rather just fumble through the house with my eyes closed. That's how we are in relationships. What happens is we don't want to turn on that light and see that you really got a little nasty bug in your kitchen. You really got some things that are unclean. We don't want to shine the light on it because we feel like we're afraid of what the light will reveal. What am I trying to say? I just said that we stop acting like the only way you can see is with your eyes. We were given 5 senses, and what we do, I just said that my mic drop is what you choose to ignore on the front end is that very thing that will come and you have to be forced to face it on the back end. So what happens with our eyes, this is our lesson. It says in our eyes, we only are able to see because light is reflected on an object and our brain translates that light. The darker it is, the less able our brain is able to translate and see what it is. It's the same thing that happens in our lives. Hey, Monique, with my mom, what happens is, what we do is we just walk around like we're in darkness. We just walk around like we can't see because we are afraid of shining the light on a situation because we don't really want to see it for what it is. Am I telling the truth in this house tonight? I'm telling you all, this is what happens. What we'll say is, I don't even want to know what's going on. I didn't even ask him. I didn't even look at it. I don't even, just leave me out of that. Listen, stop being afraid, avoiding dark places because you're afraid of what the light will reveal. Don't you understand that you can't see correctly and your brain can't process and translate what's really going on when you're in the dark? Oh, am I helping you tonight? You better learn how to flip the switch. Can somebody type that on up there? You better learn how to flip the switch. I'm trying to tell you, this is why we cannot get free. This is why we're so hard pressed at trying to figure out what's love got to do with it. You better learn how to flip that switch. Whatever it is that shows up when that light comes on, that's the thing that you need to deal with. Whatever critters are running around in that relationship, when you shine that light on it, stop saying, I don't want to know. I don't want to hear. I don't want to see. You better flip the switch. You can't fix what you won't face. And so a lot of times we actually, see, let me tell you what happened. Let me go a little further with that. If you won't flip the switch for yourself, somebody else is going to flip it for you. I'm dropping the mic tonight. See, that's what happens in our relationships when we get shamed and embarrassed because we walking around stumbling in the dark, scared to turn the light on and see the situation for what it really is. But somebody's going to roll up in your relationship and flip the light on for you. And then you're going to be forced to say, oh my goodness, is that what was in my kitchen? Oh my goodness, is that what my living room really looked like? You wondering, you know you've been tripping over stuff. You know you've been stubbing your toe on stuff, but you're just so afraid to turn that light on and see the situation for what it really is. But help me help you understand something. If you are afraid to flip that switch on, somebody else is going to flip it on for you. How? Screenshot. How? Drive by. How? They're going to call your phone. How? It's going to get in your face and you're going to be forced. I just told you what you choose to ignore on the front end is the very thing that comes back and you're forced to face it on the back end. I'm trying to help us get free tonight. Am I helping y'all tonight? I hope I am. That was the first. I'm dealing with our 5 senses. I told you I'm going to start off with this biology lesson. I'm going to deal with our bodies and how we're always so fooled in relationships. Flip the switch. You better learn how to do it. So that was the first sense. Number 1 was sight. All right, so here we go. Number 2, sound. Sound. I just said, stop acting like you can only see with your eyes. We're going to deal with all 5 of our senses, and I'm going to show you how you can see with more than your eyes. Hey, Timothy on with my music. So, number 1, sight. So I just told you guys, that's what happened. Learn how to flip the switch. Number 2, sound. Now, let me give you this quick lesson. The ear uses bones and fluid to transform sound waves into sound signals. I need you to understand that because y'all know I'm about to drop some knowledge on you. Our ear, we're talking about our 5 senses and how we desensitize ourselves in relationships because we don't want to deal with what's really there. Number 2 is sound. The ear uses bones and fluids. Somebody type that in. Number 2 is sound. The ear uses bones and fluids to transform our sound waves into sound signals. What am I saying? Sometimes it's not what they said, it's how they said it. Now that's a mic drop. Sometimes it's not what they said, it's how they said it. Oh man, we going there. I just said what happened was our ear uses bones and fluids to transform sound waves into sound signals. So what happens is it's not all the time what they said, it's how they say it. Now I'm about to drop even a bigger mic. I'm all the way live. Listen, I'm on fire tonight. I feel like I'm on fire. So I hope y'all are sharing and getting everybody on. Here is a mic drop. And this is going to be big and I need y'all to get this. Your ears, and some of this is going to set some of y'all free because some of you guys are doubting yourself. Is that really that? Is that? You're going to get some clarity by the time tonight is over. It's going to be some help, some hope, and some healing. So here is my mic drop. Hey, Miss Charlene, thank you guys that are just coming on late. Make sure at this time when it's over, go back and watch the whole thing. Make sure you're hitting the share button and getting your friends on because it's real raw and relevant tonight. So we're dealing with sound. Here is my next mic drop. Your ears heard the words, but your brain got the interpretation. I wish I had a bomb to explode. Hear me. Your ears heard the words, but your brain got the interpretation. I hope y'all hearing what I'm telling y'all tonight. I just said that your ears uses sound waves, puts it in your brain, and your brain takes those waves and transforms it into signals. What am I saying? Your ears heard the words, but your brain got the interpretation. Oh yeah, they said it. They said it. You heard it with your ear. But what did your brain really say? Did they say that? Hear me now. Y'all better listen to me. Your ears heard the words, but your brain got the interpretation. I didn't mean it like that. Girl, you know I was just playing. Boy, you know I just was. Hear me. Your ears heard the word, but your brain heard the interpretation. Oh, your brain got that. You asking them, wait a minute, are you trying to be funny? I was just playing. No, I think you were serious. You know, they said something being slick. They said something being, you just trying to wonder, are they joking? Are they being fun? Your ears heard the words, but your brain got the interpretation. I hope y'all are hearing it. This is why sometimes we are confused and we wonder what's love got to do with it. People fool us because they're saying one thing and it's translating as something else. You better hear me. Your ears heard the word. Oh, you heard correctly, but your brain got the interpretation. I'm trying to tell you, stop thinking that you can only see with your eyes. Hey, you can see with your ears. Your ears heard the words, but your brain got the interpretation. Somebody put up an ear and a brain emoji. I'm trying to tell you, you helping me. So you have to pay attention to sight, number one. Number two, you have to pay attention to sound. We're dealing up front with the 5 senses. Number 3, the third thing that gives us signals about what's going on with us, touch. That's a part of our 5 senses. Somebody type that in. Touch. Let's deal with touch. Touch is number 3. We have specialized receptors in our skin that sends signals to our brain. That's how touch is interpreted. Do you understand? There are sensors, specialized sensors in our skin that send signals to our brain. Let me get you to figure out what that means. What am I really saying tonight? You can feel rejection. I'm dropping the mic. You can feel somebody being distanced from you. You can feel when somebody's distracted, they mind on something and somebody else. You can feel secrets when they're hiding stuff and not being truthful. Hey, Tina, you can feel. Touch registers what's warm and what's cold. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? You can use your sense of touch to see. I'm trying to get y'all free tonight. Stop thinking you can just see with your eyes. Oh no, your sense of touch. Your hands have specialized receptors in your skin that causes your brain to register what's really going on. Hear me. You can feel. You ever said, I felt like he was acting funny? You felt it because your sense of touch. Y'all hear me? I'm all the way deep tonight. Hey, Charlotte, your sense of touch was picking up on something. Your sense of touch. Listen to me. You can feel when somebody acting cold towards you. Thank you, Keisha. You can feel when somebody is warm and loving towards you. You can feel when their affections have moved on to somebody else. Hear me. You can feel it. You better learn how to let your sense of touch help you see. I'm dropping the mic. Listen, you ever heard a saying when you say, girl, I feel you. You know what? I feel you. I can feel you. It's your sense of touch. You can sense things. You can feel things. And so what my mic drop is 3 words. Touch will tell. That's a mic drop. I need somebody to type that in. Touch will tell. Honey, touch will tell. Do you hear me? Touch will tell you when somebody is distracted. Touch will tell you when somebody has something else going on. Touch will tell you when somebody is distancing themselves. Touch will tell you when somebody's not feeling you like they used to. Touch will tell you when somebody really has a problem with you that they're not saying out of their mouth. Touch will tell. You better hear what I'm trying to tell y'all tonight. Touch will tell. You can feel it. Touch is able to sense warmth, heat, and coldness. Touch will tell. I hope I'm helping y'all tonight. I'm talking about 5 senses. I just dropped the mic and said, stop acting like you can only see with your eyes. I'm going through all 5 of our senses, and I'm showing you. We just dealt number 1 with sight. Number 2, we dealt with sound. Number 3, we dealt with touch. Touch will tell. Number 4, what's the 4th sense that will help you get what's going on with somebody? You're trying to figure out what's love got to do with it. I'm helping you activate your senses so that you will be able to see with more than your eyes. Number 4, smell. Somebody type that in. Number 4 is smell. Smell. Let's talk about smell real quick. Chemicals in the air stimulate signals that the brain in turn interprets as a smell or an odor. So chemicals have to be in the air so that your brain interprets it as an odor or a scent. Have you ever said, something don't smell right? Something smells off. Have you ever said that? Have you ever just been in a place and you said, it don't smell right. She smell like death. He smells like something. They smell like something. I say all the time on my mic drops, every now and again, you better take an emotional, you better take a physical, you better take a spiritual shower. You better do a test and say, what do I smell like? Am I walking around here smelling like unforgiveness? Am I walking around here smelling like depression? Am I walking here smelling like neediness? Am I around here smelling like I just need somebody or something? What do I smell like? Smell can help you see. Hey, and I'm trying to let you understand this is how you can determine and use your 5 senses to help you see who a person really is. Number 4 is smell. Chemicals in the air stimulate certain signals that cause your brain to interpret it as an odor. Something smells off. Did you know that when your body shifts on the inside, when you are under a lot of stress, when somebody is lying, when there is a chemical imbalance going on in your body, when you're sick, your body starts emitting a different odor? You ever smelt a sick child? You ever smelt something that was off? Have you ever had something where you're smelling something smells off? Even in yourself, you can tell when something is on you and it smells different. I feel like I'm getting sick. Something smells funny. Something smells off. When something in us is not right, we emit a different odor. So can I tell you something? I can smell a lie. Oh, I'm dropping the mic. Listen to me. Some of y'all can smell somebody that's slick a mile down the road. Oh, I can smell that was a schemer. Oh, I can smell she wasn't coming to do any good. Oh, I can smell that on him. I smell sex on her. I smell that. I smell that neediness. Oh, I smell he'll try to get over. You can smell something on somebody. Listen, smell helps you see. You got to use all 5 of your senses to be able to interpret what's going on in your life with people in relationships. Listen, you can, just like you can smell somebody when they musty, just like before you even get up on them, you saying, good God Almighty, what is that scent? Automatically, you know a couple of things about a musty person. Number 1, they have not used deodorant, or they need to use a stronger antiperspirant and deodorant. Number 2, you understand that they've been somewhere that has caused them to exert a lot of energy. Number 3, you understand that they need to go somewhere and get clean. Well, don't you know so it is in the natural with us? When you smell an odor coming off of somebody, don't you know that tells them, wait a minute, somewhere you've been exerting some extra energy? Don't you know that tells you whatever you've been using, you need to use a little bit more of it because your smell is off. Don't you know in the natural the same thing is, you smell too strong, you need to go take a shower. Some of us smell like the person we used to be with. Some of us still smell like that last relationship. Some of us still smell like some things that we've been through. Some of us still smell like the rejection we hadn't gotten past. Some of us still smell like unforgiveness, and we carrying around the odor of anger. Oh, I'm flowing tonight. We smell like something. So you have to check yourself and say, what do I smell like? You better learn how to unstop your nose so that you can breathe. That was a mic drop. I keep telling you guys, what you choose to ignore on the front end is what you're forced to face on the back end. So you better tell somebody, and you better tell yourself, unstop your nose so that you can breathe. You better hear me. I hope I'm helping you all. I'm talking about using our 5 senses to help us see. You can see with more than your eyes. We talked about sight. We talked about sound. We talked about touch. We talked about smell. Last but not least is taste. Thank you, Joy. I am flowing. That's right. Your smell is off. You got to know what this thing is. Hey, Vanessa, thank you so much. Number 5 is taste. Taste is, and can y'all type that in? 5 is taste. Taste. And I'm telling you, all these senses will help you see. Thank you, Jasmine. Number 5 is taste. Taste is a sensory detection that develops through the interaction of dissolved molecules with our taste buds. In other words, in order for us to taste something, we have to put it in our mouth and allow it to dissolve. See, what happens is you can be eating something really fast and never taste it. Anybody experience that? Just dogging food out and you never taste it. It's because the only way that you can really taste something is that it has to dissolve in your mouth and be broken down. What am I saying? A lot of times we don't want to process through some of our relationships because we know it's going to leave a bad taste in our mouth. I'm in the house tonight. I'm telling y'all 5 senses, how to use your 5 senses to see somebody for who they really are. So number 5 is taste. The only way that you're able to taste something is when you allow something in your mouth to dissolve. You can dog food out all day and just gobble it down and never taste it. But if you want to taste something, you've got to give it an opportunity to break itself down so that your taste buds can distinguish what flavor is that. A lot of times in relationships, we don't want to allow something to dissolve and be broken down because we know it's going to leave a bad taste in our mouth. Some of us are so busy with people that we know for a fact that joker rotten to the core. We know for a fact that woman is as rotten as they come, spoiled. We know that thing has been spoiled past its expiration day. But no, what we want to do, we just want to deal with the outer course. We want to see what happens is we choose to ingest rather than digest. Ingest means we just take it all in whole. Oh, we just throw it back. Oh, we don't even taste it. Some of y'all drinkers know if you take a shot, you just ingest it. You throw it back so you don't have to taste it. But when you digest something, that thing got to sit and marinate a minute. You got to let that thing break down so you can see, wait a minute, what does that taste like? A lot of times we're not able to see clearly in relationships because we're too busy trying to ingest it. Let me just take the whole thing instead of digest it. Let me break this thing down and let me see, is this joker really rotten? Is this woman spoiled? Is what happening with this relationship bitter to the taste? And this is why we have a hard time being able to differentiate between what is a healthy relationship and what is an unhealthy relationship, because we won't use our 5 senses. And I just gave you, those of you guys that came on late, you better come on and go back to the beginning at the end of this and watch it. Number 1, I talked about sight. You use your sight to see. Number 2, you use your sound to see. Number 3, this is how you use touch to see. Number 4, you can use your smell to see. And number 5, you can use your taste to see. I'm trying to tell you, this is how we get free tonight. I hope I'm helping you guys. Hey, Lena, I hope you guys that are just coming on, take a second, share this on your page, get some people on, because I am just getting ready to shift into overdrive. This is a special mic drop Monday. Tonight we're talking about what's love got to do with it. A lot of us, hey Kawambi, a lot of us aren't able to differentiate between what's real love and what's fake love. I tell y'all all the time, Drake was prophetic in his song. He started saying, listen, I've been down so long, this looked like up to me. I got fake people showing fake love to me straight up to my face. But he had to have an epiphany about what was going on, because sometimes we don't understand if what's in front of us is really love or is it something else. We label things because certain things keep us in our comfort zone. Certain things we say, well, I'm going to pretend. See, let me tell you something. A lot of us act like we playwrights. Oh, we act like we know how to write a whole TV series, because what we'll do is we'll decide to see what we want to see, hear what we want to hear, and interpret things the way we want to interpret it. Why do we do that? Well, we label certain things as love because it keeps us in our comfort zone. I don't want to be uncomfortable, so I'll just pretend like what I'm dealing with is love. A lot of times we label things as love because we don't want to be lonely. Oh, I don't want to start over. I can't bear the thought of being alone, being by myself, having to open myself up to somebody new. What if nobody else comes to me? I'd rather deal with the hell that I know than the hell that I don't know. A lot of times we label things as love because we don't want the inconvenience of having to stand up on our own 2 feet and pay our own bills, take care of our own children, figure out what to do for ourselves. A lot of us are labeling things as love, but all it is a means to an end. We're just using people to get by, or we're allowing people to leech onto us as a means to the end, and we're labeling it as love. I just gave y'all a lesson in biography on our 5 senses. You got to use more than your eyes to see. Your touch, your smell, your taste, all of these things, your sight. You've got to use everything to be able to see. If you came on late, make sure you go back and watch this repeat, because this is how you get free. So hear me. A lot of us keep people tied to us forever. It's a trick. We know that's not love. You know you don't love them, but as a way to keep them tied to you forever, well, let me go ahead and tell this man I love him. Let me pretend like I really love this girl when I know that feeling left a long time ago. But this is the way that I keep them tied to me. A lot of us label things as love because we feel obligated. We feel as though, well, oh, they helped me so much. They did this for me. So let me allow the feelings that I'm feeling. Let me label it as love. It's not love. That's appreciation. I'm dropping the mic tonight. Y'all hear me? That's not love. You're just thankful. That's not love. You're just grateful. And so a lot of times we label things as love because we're afraid to really call it out for what it really is. But I'm trying to help us tonight as we're dealing with what's love got to do with it. The answer is everything. Love is what love does. Now, we're shifting into phase 2. This is round 2 of what's love got to do with it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of you guys' comments. I'm going to go back and read everything later. I appreciate you guys. Those of you all that watch me in Mic Drop Monday, and those of you guys that are new, I often say that I use various methods and resources to bring clarity. You guys know sometimes I'll use National Geographic. Sometimes I'll use the medical field. Sometimes I'll deal with things on a psychological basis. Sometimes I'll deal with things emotionally, physically, to bring clarity about things. But tonight, I don't know if you guys know this old song by the Foreigners. It was called I Want to Know What Love Is. There was a verse in it. It was saying, I want you to show me. Well, listen, tonight, the second half of Mic Drop Monday, I'm going to show you how to identify what love is. It's Mic Drop Monday, baby, and it's going to be real, raw, and relevant. We're talking about what's love got to do with it, and the answer is everything. Thank you, John. We're talking about it. So tonight I'm going to shift gears, and I am going to give you, those of you guys that are saying, I wonder, is this love? I wonder, is what this person's saying, is that love? Is this love? I'm still trying to figure out. I'm not sure. Sometimes I think it is. Sometimes I think it's not. I'm just not sure. Well, guess what? Tonight I'm going to show you what love is. And when you leave with help, hope, and healing, you will be able to identify love. So the best way to show you guys tonight what love is, I could have pulled from any resource. I could have pulled from any type of definition. But tonight, thank you, Esther. Tonight, I am showing what love is. Thank you, Jeanette. I'm going to show what love is by taking us to 1 Corinthians 13. Oh yeah, we going to the Bible tonight. This is the resource that I am using to show us what love is. And I guarantee you, I'm going to show you a way to interpret this whole chapter and really identify what love is. I bet you before you leave tonight, it's going to answer some questions for you. I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. That's what the song says. Well, we're getting ready to figure it out tonight. 1 Corinthians 13. And I'm going to be, and I did the research from the NIV version. So it's going to, read a little differently. Thank you, Audrey. It's going to read a little differently, but it's going to give us some insight about what love is. So here it is, and I'm going to break it down in a way that I hope gives you guys an epiphany about love. All right, so number 1, chapter 1, verse 1 says, if I speak in the tongues of men or angels, but don't have love, I'm only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. What is that chapter basically saying? Talk is cheap. That words without action means nothing. Huh? Oh yeah, that's what verse 1 is saying. I can have as eloquent speak. Oh honey, I can be able to talk and say all of these different things. But if you want to realize, hey Wanda, this is Mic Drop Monday. We're talking about I want to know what love is. And we're giving ways to how do you really determine what love is. 1 Corinthians 13, I'm using the NIV. The very first verse says, if I speak in tongues of men and angels, but I don't have love, I sound like a gong, a clanging cymbal. What am I saying? Words without actions mean nothing. Talk is cheap. That's all that he's telling us. Listen, you can say a whole lot of things. You can talk all day. But if there is no love, if there is no actions, if there is no evidence following those words, all you doing is making noise. You know what a clanging cymbal is? Just hitting. You just hear a gong. You ever seen those movies and they just hit this? All it is, there's no melody. There is no song. There is no harmony. All you're doing is hearing something that's loud. You better hearing this. It's saying, Janisa, I'm getting ready to get to it. I'm doing a different interpretation. So what happens is they're basically saying, if I don't have love, if I can speak, but I'm not loving people, listen, I don't have anything. So what happens is I can say the right words. Oh, I can make those words sound, so ever eloquently. But if I do not have love, listen, I'm just making noise. That is all I'm doing. I don't really have it in my heart. All I'm doing is being loud. All I'm doing is making fuss. That's all I'm doing. It is not translating as anything. We keep going. Number 2 is saying I can have the gift of prophecy and I can be able to comprehend all mysteries and knowledge. Oh, I can have faith that can move mountains. But if I don't have love, still, guess what? I'm nothing. You hearing what I'm saying? A lot of times we interpret love as intelligent. Oh my goodness, he's so intellectual. Oh, listen at how she's able to articulate that. Oh, look at the way he is is able to activate his faith and to be strong. A lot of times I'm translating this in a practical way. A lot of times we see things on the front end and we immediately tell ourselves, oh, that must be love. Oh, that's how I'm going to recognize love. But listen, intelligence does not equal love. People can have the right display of certain things and still not have love on the inside of them. Hear me. They can be prophetic. They can interpret things. They can be wise. Oh, they can have faith that can move mountains. But hear me. If there is not an element of love on the inside, nothing. It still denotes to nothing. The next verse basically says, listen, if I give all that I possess to the poor, oh, if I give my body over to hardship, hear me what I am saying. You know, if I can just say, listen to me, boy, if I look at all I do, look at how I give my money. Listen, for me to give all of my wealth, that means I'm financially stable. Hear me. But if I still don't have love, guess what? I still gain nothing. What am I saying? Listen, wealth does not equal love. Your ability to be a philanthropist just because you're free-hearted. Ooh, I just give. You see the way I just give to people? Hear me. The Bible says you can give your body over to hardship. But at the end of the day, if you do not have love, you don't gain a thing. A lot of times we get caught up. That's how people slick. That's how they get up on us. We get caught up in their acts of kindness. We get caught up in the fact that, ooh, look at them giving money, taking care of me. Ooh, look at them coming in and making sure my bills are taken care of. Ooh, look at them going in and doing things for me. Honey, we will tell ourselves these kind of things, but you better understand, if there is not love present at the end of the day, you have gained nothing. It's about to get deep in this camp tonight. And so the next few scriptures, what it does for us is it goes in and breaks down what love is. And so if you were ever in between a rock and a hard place and you're wondering, I want to know what love is, I want you to show me, I want to feel what love is. Well, listen, tonight we're going to talk about what love is, and we're coming straight out of 1 Corinthians 13 in the NIV. This is the tool that I'm using to teach us tonight, and I'm translating in a way that is practical so that we may have help, hope, and healing. How do I identify if it's love? Well, the first thing that it talks about is love is patient. My cousin Kevin is on. Hey, patience is the capacity to accept delay. Oh, see, I'm going here with y'all. Love is patient. That means love has the capacity to accept delay. That means, and listen, when we talk about love, we're not always talking about relationships if it's a emotional or an intimate relationship. This is it with anybody in your life. Love has to be patient. That means love says, the word patience means I have the capacity to accept delay. It's not happening fast enough. What? You're not moving quick enough for me? I'm out. That ain't working. That ain't moving like it needs to. Well, listen, you better identify that perhaps may not be love. They want you to move this quick, wanting you to do nothing. Listen to me. Hear me. That's not identified as love. Patience. It also says love is kind. What is kindness? Kindness means I'm friendly. I'm considerate. I am generous. You better go back and you better look at that relationship and say, is the person that I am interacting with, are they friendly towards me? Or am I dealing with somebody always treating me with a nasty attitude? They're not considerate. They're so inconsiderate. When they do things, when they buy things, when they go somewhere, they never consider my needs, my wants, my desires, what might be good for me. Are they generous? What is happening with generosity? A lot of you guys are giving some great comments. I hope you guys are going to go back and read those later. So love is kind. So you think about, if I am going to go and determine whether there is some substantiated love in this relationship, is this person friendly towards me? Are they considerate to my needs? Are they generous when it comes to me? The next verse says love is not envious. So what happens? Envious means when you're resentful towards somebody else because of what they have. Oh, see, real love is not envious. If you are in a relationship, it might be your friend, it might be your significant other, it might be your family. You're with somebody and they're envious of what you have. They're envious of your talents. They're envious of your resources. They're envious of your ability. They're envious of where you are in life. Not even thinking about what it took to get you to that place. Not even thinking about what you had to sacrifice to get where you are, but they're just envious. Understand, love is not envious. If somebody is resentful of you because of what you have been able to attain, that is not a display of love. The next verse says that love is not boastful. When somebody is boastful, that means they have excessive pride in their achievements, in their possessions. Somebody that's all the time talking about what I have. Well, you know I have that car. Wait a minute, that's my house. That's my stuff. I'm being boastful. Well, you know that's my bank account. Don't get it twisted. Well, you know that's my stuff. Listen, love is not boastful. Love doesn't have excessive pride in the things that they possess. How do you identify? You want to know what love is? Well, I'm working 1 Corinthians 13 and I'm talking about how do you identify love. Next it says love is not proud. That means pride is having a high opinion of yourself. That means love is not looking down their nose at you, making you feel like you're less than. Love is not saying, well, you know, I have a degree. Well, you know, I'm the one having a job and you don't. Well, you know, I'm the one that got you that car. Well, you know, I'm the reason you're able to do what you're doing. You know, I'm the reason you're able to not have to work. Listen, love is not proud. These are ways to identify if who and what you're dealing with is really love. Verse 5 says, does not dishonor others. I'm in the NIV. Dishonor means that you're bringing shame or disgrace to somebody. That's when they're out there cheating and everybody knows about it but you. That's when everybody whispering because they know what your man doing and you're the only one left in the dark. They know what your woman's out there. They know who she's with and you're the person that does not know. If somebody loves you, they would not risk dishonoring you. They would never put you in a position that you're in front of people that's talking behind your back because they know something you don't know. Love does not bring dishonor to others. The next verse says it's not self-seeking. That means that's when it's only beneficial to them. They're the only person that comes out on top. They're the only person that has the benefits. No, love is not self-seeking. It goes on to say love is not easily angered. Every little thing aggravates them. Everything makes them mad. They have a short fuse about everything that happens. Listen, love is not easily angered. Yeah, they might get irritated. Yeah, you might aggravate the heck out of them, but to drive them to anger, if they're easily angered, you better go and check and say, wait a minute, I need to see if this is what love is. Next, it says, love keeps no record of wrong. That means love is not sitting around saying, he did this. Let me write this down because what I'm going to do is put it in my back left pocket and I won't say anything about it this time. But the next time this thing comes up, I'm putting it right back in their face and I'm going to bring it up. Listen, love keeps no record of wrong. That means I'm just going to watch her. I'm just going to see if she mess up. I'm going to let her hang herself. And when she does, I'm going to bring it in her face and I'm going to say, February 18th, you remember when you did this? And then March the 12th. Oh yeah, I remember. I kept a record of all of that. Listen, love, according to 1 Corinthians 13, does not keep a record of your wrong so that it can hold it over your head. Listen, that is not love. That is somebody that's a cop trying to build you a rap sheet. Huh? That's somebody that wants to incriminate you. Y'all better hear me tonight. Love, it goes on to say, doesn't delight in evil. That means when something happens, when you lose your job, when your car gets repossessed, when you're down on your luck, when you're out of money, love doesn't say, that's what you get. You thought you were all the way. You thought you were all that. Now what? You thought you were high and mighty. Now look what they saying about you. You better understand, love does not delight in evil. Love is not sitting around saying, that's what you get. That's not love. The next verse says, love rejoices in truth. Love is appreciative when something comes to the light and it's the truth. Love is appreciative. Love says, listen, you finally discovered the real deal. You finally know what's really going on. Love rejoices in the truth. The next thing says, love protects. What does protect mean? Protect means it keeps you safe from something. Sometimes love keeps you safe from financial ruin. Sometimes love keeps you safe from something that's embarrassing. Sometimes love keeps you safe from the opinions of others. Love protects. It doesn't leave you unguarded. It doesn't let you walk into a situation and you don't know what's going on. Love protects. Here's the next thing. Love trusts, hopes, and perseveres, which means there's confidence. Love means somebody has confidence in you to do the right thing. Love says, I have a feeling of expectation that you can do it. That's hope. And persevering is saying, I'm going to continue in this mode of action because I believe that if you keep pressing, you're going to be somebody. Those are the attributes of love. But now before I leave, I got to drop the mic. Here is the big part that's at the end of this love chapter. Here is what happens at the end of love. And I always thought that it was funny that this verse happened to be in the love verse. But there is a disclaimer. And let me go ahead and drop the mic here. Here's a mic drop. It ends with, the love part says, love never fails. But let me add to this. Love never fails. People do. That's a mic drop. Somebody ought to type that in. Love never fails. People do. So here's what happens. We hold people to an expectation that we should only be holding love to. Love, that feeling, that spirit, that expectation, that hope, that particular emotion doesn't fail. But people are fallible. People will fall. People will lie. People will drop the ball. People will make mistakes. People will throw rocks and hide their hands. Love never fails. People do. And so the scripture follows up with a disclaimer because they don't want you to get it twisted. The writer said, now hold on. Somebody gonna take this the wrong way, and I don't want you to walk in ignorance when it comes to love. So here is what happens so that we are not naive, because some of us think, I'm just going to close my eyes and believe love. No, see, there is a disclaimer that is put in this Bible that says, when I was a child, I talked, I spoke like a child. I understood like a child, and I thought like a child. But when I became a man, or when I became grown, I put away childish things. What am I saying, and why is this important? What's love got to do with it? Because after all of these verses, it comes back and says, hold on, wait a minute, so that you don't get it twisted. You learn how to identify love, because if somebody is still walking around being childish, thinking like a child, thinking like an infant, coming on to you, still responding to you in like an infant. What do children do? How can you tell if you're dealing with somebody that's grown or you dealing with a child? Children are needy. Children can't do nothing for themselves. Children walk in entitlement and expect you to do something. Children will lie to your face. Children will tell you one thing and do another because they haven't gotten to the point of accountability and responsibility and maturity. The Bible said, when I was a child, I thought like a child, I responded like a child, I spoke like a child, I acted like a child. But when I became a man, when it came time for love, how do you identify what's love got to do with it? I put away childish things. I stopped lying and learned how to be grown and tell the truth. I stopped cheating and decided if I don't want to be with you, I'll just get out of the relationship. So love is grown. What am I saying? And that's a mic drop. Love is for grown folks. You better hear me. This is adult conversation tonight. When I became a man, when I got grown, those things that I can comprehend and that I can say these are associated with children, I put aside those things. So you have to go back and say, am I dealing with somebody that is speaking like a child, that is behaving like a child, that is acting like a child? Children get in trouble and then tomorrow they'll do the same thing and get the same spanking again about it. Children will continue to get in trouble time after time after the same thing you fuss at them about, the same thing you correct them about. But now a grown man, you keep fussing at him about cheating, you keep talking to her about spending money, and they're doing the exact same thing again and again. Listen, when I became a man, I put away childish things. So what's love got to do with it? Everything. Where is the maturity? Love is for grown folks. If you're with somebody that does not have the capacity to be patient with you, that does not have the capacity to be kind or not be jealous of what you have and who you are, and that's not boastful, and that's not proud, and that doesn't dishonor you, and that's not selfish and self-seeking, and that's not getting mad quick and easily angered, and that's not keeping a record of everything that you do wrong, and that's not getting happy every time you flunk and every time you do something and fail, and that's not always trying to and that's not trying to protect you from things that are wrong, and that doesn't trust you, and that doesn't hope, and that doesn't persevere with you, then you might be dealing with a child. And love is for grown folks. This is how we make determinations about what love is. I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. Well, I just showed you through 1 Corinthians 13. I showed you how to take those 5 senses. You can see with more than your eyes. I showed you at the beginning how to take the sense of sight, sound, touch, smell, and taste and figure out how to see somebody for what they really are. And then I just took you down 1 Corinthians 13 in the NIV and showed you this is how you identify what love is. So what's love got to do with it? Everything. Listen, guys, everybody that's watching, I'm Elisa, LaShell, the Empowerment Specialist.